I think the main talking point that I had really was Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah.
Because by the looks of things, they're bottling it.
Yes, it's a perfect time to talk about it as well, actually, because they just lost 3-1 to Leicester.
Which, I don't even know where you start. Because I knew that before we talked about they were expected a drop and a dip because you can't keep the performance levels up that they did throughout how many years that they were doing it. But this is a bad drop. This is worrying.
One thing that I think though is that people are giving them too much slack because
I think so as well.
If you're a Champions League winning team and a Premier League winning team, you don't just drop like that. Like look at Real Madrid. Where did they get like 4 Champions Leagues in however many years or something?
Well, they won 3 in a row, didn't they?
Exactly. So you can't tell me then that it's just bound to happen. Because Real Madrid managed to sustain it for a certain period of time.
I think that's obviously harder than winning a league.
Oh yeah.
Because Champions League, you don't know who you're going to draw, and you don't know who's going to turn up on the day.
Exactly. But retaining the Premier League is not easy, but it has been done. It's been done, I think, 8 times.
Yeah. Yeah, so, easy. United won it, I think, 3 years in a row.
3 times they've retained it.
And that's by the way with players like Cleverley and players like that we had.
I think you need to go a little bit deeper than just okay, you can say that they've had a dip in form, but why have they had a dip in form? Obviously, there's no Virgil, there's no Joe Gomez. I know what people are going to say, and I know that the reasons that they're going to say, and I understand the points they're making. It's unfortunate that they've got injuries. It's unfortunate that fans aren't allowed in the stadium because fans are massive at Anfield. Anybody that plays football says that Anfield's a big stadium to go to with fans and stuff. I get that. I understand that's your reasoning. However, the points that you are making are so invalid because everyone can't have fans. So it's affecting everybody. Everyone has gone through this pandemic. So no one's had a good pre-season. People have had people drop in and out of squads because of COVID, or they need to self-isolate and they lose players, and people have got injuries. So I've got the injury table up of the teams, and I'll tell you who people are injured. So Arsenal have 4, and Arsenal's current injuries are Thomas Partey, was their big signing. To revitalise them. Tierney, who's been one of the best players that they've had this season. David Luiz is suspended, so it doesn't really count, and Bernd Leno is now suspended. So out of the 4, they've got 2 injuries to 2 big players. Then you go to Villa, who have got 2 injuries. You've got Wesley, who suffered his injury last season, so it's kind of irrelevant. And House, who isn't really whatever, so you can say it doesn't matter. Brighton have Lamptey, who is one of their best players. Jahanbakhsh, who's, again, a good player for him. Proper, Webster, Solly March. So I think
want to go Palace. Palace have 9 players injured.
Yeah, so it's basically key to mention that everyone's basically in the same sort of boat when it comes to injuries.
The only teams that don't have many injuries, and I'll say this, and this is why Liverpool should get shit as well. Liverpool, I feel, over the last couple of seasons have had this little bit of air of arrogance about them, where they had a chance to strengthen well in their areas, to have backup and to have a decent rotational squad. And sorry if the music video is just
little cameo.
We're not trying to do stuff. And we have, everybody's got injuries. Everybody's had that kind of thing. But I think it's just this air of arrogance that they've had these windows to sign players as depth. I mean, when you look at title-winning teams, everyone says you need squad depth. And Liverpool were just bordering on, like we said before, you could name the same 11 that would play for Liverpool week in, week out. So the fact that they've now got injuries is not a shock. And it's actually kind of a bit of you get what you deserve, because for not going out there and strengthening your squad and having that depth, you're now suffering and whatever. But then also, to counter that, they had one of their strongest 11s against Villa that got slapped 7-2 at the beginning of the season. Yeah. What excuse is there for that?
I think it shows what you're saying is correct, because they've just panic bought centre backs.
But I'm not. But this is the thing. I'm not buying all of this injury bollocks. I'm not buying it. Like, you can go, oh, Fabinho's not a centre-back. Fabinho played centre-back at Monaco. He was a defender. Like, and also, when he played centre-back against United, everyone was like, unbelievable performance. What a player. He could play centre-back easily.
Yeah.
He played centre-back last season. Like, so I don't get where this argument. Jordan Henderson, if you're a good enough footballer as a CDM, you should probably be able to comfortably play
You
centre-back.
should be able to play. Yeah, you're just one step further back, aren't you? It's the same game.
Be able to play centre-back. And then you bring two centre-backs in, and then you don't play them.
Yeah.
So how's that?
Klopp did say today, though, obviously, what's his name? Kabak. Did he play? Is that the guy? Yeah, so he played today. But obviously that Sam Davis or whatever his name is apparently picked up an injury in training.
Right.
Apparently, okay. But I just think that he wasn't ready.
So if we look at Liverpool's injuries, we've got Jota, who is obviously he was on a roll like beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Naby Keita doesn't really play anyway.
Not really.
So
no.
that's irrelevant. Matip doesn't really play anyway if Van Dijk and Gomez are fit.
But they could use him if they needed to, though.
Gomez and Van Dijk are injured, obviously, with long-term injuries. Fabinho, apparently a muscle issue. Origi, he doesn't really play. Kelleher, he's literally the third choice goalkeeper. Ben Davies, who is the centre-back they've just signed. Milner doesn't really play. He comes on.
He just got injured. He just got injured today.
Oh, was it today?
Yeah, he had to come off against Leicester in like 20 minutes.
So literally about half of the players that I've just said don't even really play. So what I don't get what the argument is. So yeah, it's unfortunate that Gomez and Van Dijk have had, long injuries and stuff, but you've still got Trent and Robertson, who are supposed to be the two best fullbacks in the world. You've still got Jordan Henderson, who was PFA Player of the Year and in the Premier League Team of the Year. You've still got the same front three as last season, and arguably you've signed one of the best midfielders in the world in Thiago.
Yeah.
So what I don't get what's different. Like, so surely you should be performing as well as you did last season, if not a tiny bit better. Like, it's unfortunate you've lost your centre backs, but then I also think that just goes to show that they rely way too much on Van Dijk, like way too much. Like, so then it has to then be said, well, then what do they then do from this point on?
Yeah, because it's going to be a long road waiting for him to come back.
That's what I mean. Now teams have found him out.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? And the problem is, yeah, you've lost two centre-backs. Okay, that's fine. But what's stopping you going up at the other end and scoring? When you've got the same front...
This is the thing, like, their goal against Leicester today, I don't know if you saw it, was actually a really good goal. Like,
yeah,
it was fair enough it was kind of on the counter, because Tielemans, if he'd have just drilled it out, then they wouldn't have had the chance. But Firmino's done an absolute bit of saucy magic. And then Salah's, like, really good finish. But then it comes to, again, which has happened, like, the last couple of games, Alisson's had an absolute howler.
Yeah.
And for me, as soon as I heard that, I thought, right, okay, this is going to be perfect for the podcast, because he's supposed to be the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people say that, but I don't see it. So I don't know how, I get everyone has their days where they just make errors, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
But like when you're at such a high level and you're supposed to be the best in the world, that surely comes down to like you minimise that. You don't do that often, but 2 games in a row is a bit ridiculous.
It's kind of like similar to De Gea. Like, if De Gea hasn't been world class for like 3 years now, like hasn't been, because there was a point in time when De Gea won us points on his own. Like, our defence wasn't as good as Liverpool's, but he won us points on his own. Like, that's how fucking good he was. In a United team that was very, very underperforming, he was performing so well. But now it's kind of shifted where we're now kind of performing well, but he's now underperforming. And
what I think it gets given to goalkeepers is like they get given these titles not based on what they actually do, but what the team does.
Yeah.
So like, if the team's not losing, then like obviously not conceding that many goals, it has to be down to the keeper. But obviously it's a team effort. But if it's a striker and they're not bagging, it's more like clear cut as to why and why not they might be the best.
And the thing is as well, Liverpool didn't really have that many games last season where Alisson was really tested. To be honest.
Yeah, and no, you're right, because of Virgil.
Because they were so solid.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else. So, like, I don't. If you're a top goalkeeper, you are allowed clangers, and you're allowed, you're allowed to have a bit of a mare sometimes. It's fine, but to drop literally 2 clangers in the space of a week, like that's not a good sign. So the fact of your strikers aren't really performing and scoring, your midfield doesn't even really look like it's pulling its weight. Your defense is all over the shop, and now your goalkeeper is starting to drop clangers. Like
the thing is as well, like that makes it worse is that it wasn't against, like, for example, Sheffield United, who are bottom of the table. It's against Leicester. Leicester have now gone second. It's a proper top 4 rival that you're like, you don't need to make mistakes against. Yeah. And it's come up against them, and they've ended up losing the game 3-1. Now Leicester are like an extra space ahead in the table. So it's like a pivotal point. If you're that professional and you are the best in the world at something, that doesn't happen for me.
No. And the thing is, I get that injuries are unfortunate. I get it. Like, I get it completely. But every team has injuries. You're not the only one. No. Like, yeah, fair enough. You have some important players that are injured, but then that goes to show, well, then hang on, your recruitment's fucking wank then. Like, if you then can't at least get decent backups, like, for them.
What I think they did is, like, they it's like you said about arrogance, mate. They obviously just thought, oh my God, we're absolutely floating on top of the world here. No one can beat us. We look unbelievable. And then it's just come crashing down.
And I think an excuse and, like, injuries are just such a simple cop-out. To be like, oh, we're not playing well, we got injuries. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. You've got 2 centre-backs injured, but then it goes back to my point that I'd circle back and go, so if your centre-back's injured, okay, whatever, why is your midfield not performing and why is your strikers not doing what they were doing last season? So what's going on there then? Because surely, if your defence isn't that, like, anybody knows, if you're not playing registered, like, good, or people who are natural centre-backs, you're not going to start passing the ball out from the back with them. You're going to get that ball as quick as possible up to the people that you trust up front and be like, you do everything and punish him. Like, so why are they now not performing? Like, Mane's, like, not scored for a while. Firmino's not really a goal scorer anyway, but he's not playing very well. Salah's not in the form that he has been the last few seasons.
None of them are. None of them look like they are.
Like, Wijnaldum looks like a passenger at the moment. I don't know if his head's in, he's already leaving. And Thiago, like, I really thought that when Thiago was joining this Liverpool team, I was like, oh, shit.
Big problem.
Like, that's an issue. But he's really not done anything.
I think it just goes to show, though, that you can't, like, just take a world-class player, which Thiago is, and put him in a world-class team and it's going to work.
No.
Like as much as we would want that to work and you would think that it would work, it obviously just shows that it don't. But, like, I think they're just playing him out of the thing of, like, they need some creativity and he looks like the only one who's going to do it. But he didn't even start today. He had to come on when Milner got injured. He didn't even start. So I don't know what. But the thing is, mate, this is like Klopp is just having an absolute mare. He is having an absolute mare. Like, we'll save that for another episode because I know for a fact that that's going to keep happening. But what I wanted to say to you is, like, obviously, going back to the clangers and Alisson being the best in the world, do you actually think he's the best keeper in the world?
No, not a chance. It's Manuel Neuer.
This is exactly what I was going to say to you. Like,
Manuel Neuer, and there's no argument.
That's why I know that people with goalkeepers, their opinion's a bit weird because, like, Bayern are the latest winners of the Champions League, and obviously they always win the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Yet Liverpool, Alisson is still being, like, that's why people said Alisson was the best in the world, because he won the league and the Champions League.
Yeah.
So then now Neuer's done it. It's now not changed or whatever. I just find it a bit odd, but I definitely think it's Neuer. 100%.
I mean, and I also think it's a bit of laughable that Hansi Flick didn't even win Coach of the Year. It was Klopp.
I think, do you know what it is? It's got to be because Bayern always do it. Like, Bayern always, and it's nothing new.
He won more trophies than he lost games.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what league you're in or whatever. Like,
I know, yeah.
Whatever league that you're performing in, and he won the Champions League. Like, he won the Champions League the year. I think the German Cup. Like, he's won the Club World Cup. He's literally won everything they possibly could have. Like, but Klopp won it. And I don't understand this. And this is what I mean by when we talked before about the Premier League having this kind of, like, status of whoever's in it and does something in the Premier League, automatically you are
better than everyone else.
Thing. Yeah, you're automatically this thing. And it's like, but you're not. You've got to look at what you're winning. And, like,
So if you're looking at trophies won, Klopp's not even the best German manager in the world at the moment. Like he's not.
I think it's a thing of like with the Premier League, like what you're saying. I think it's like I think it gets passed down. Like the opinion gets passed down. So like very rarely do people go, okay, let's take, for example, Bundesliga, because we're talking about it, and Premier League. If you take the statistics of what people have done, blah, 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 and put them actually against each other without your opinion, you might come out that Bundesliga is a better and more competitive league. But because, let's say, for example, my fucking pap and my dad and my older brother all think the Premier League is the best league in the world, I would automatically think that. And because I'm English, I'm going to want to say that anyway. So I think a lot of that has to do with like, people don't actually analyse it. They just go, that's the best in the world.
I think in terms of like entertainment is because like we said before, you bring in different players from different leagues and it's more talent and to have a look at, and, you know, it makes it a bit more exciting, I guess. But then the one thing I don't like about the Premier League that they always do is go, it's the best league because anyone can beat anyone. And it's like, but that's like any league. That's literally any league in the world. Like if you go in, the Premier League is the best league in the world because anyone can beat anyone, I'll go, well, okay, no, it's not, because the Championship is then. Because go watch the fucking Championship and go, even if you sit and watch Soccer Saturday and you look at the scores, I guarantee you there's different scores every week. You'd be like, oh shit, they beat them. Like all the time. Like,
I think, is it because though, like, sorry to cut you off, is it because though, like, obviously people don't look at lower leagues, do they? But in like foreign top flights, it's only really one team that look like they're ever going to do it. So like, for example, Bundesliga would be Bayern Munich or PSG, for example, or like Real Madrid or Barcelona. But we've got about 4 or 5 teams that could win the league. Do you think that might be why people say that?
I think it probably is, but I think, you know, with regards to coming back to the whole anyone can beat anyone, you might just get the one team that wins the league all the time. That's fine. But anyone can still beat anyone. Like Bayern Munich will end up winning the Bundesliga. So like they will. But it's not to say that, you know, Arminia Banfield can't beat them. Like, Hanover can't beat them Hanover aren't even in the league. But like, you know what?
Just an example.
Like, like Freiburg can go and beat them. Like the Premier League isn't the best league in the world because anyone can beat anyone. The Premier League is the best league in the world because there's a richer pool of talent within it. We cherry pick all the best players from the other leagues. We cherry pick the best managers to come and coach the top teams. So it just makes for more entertainment. And
I think it's just a thing of where like people's opinion on that is never going to change. I think that's just like one of the like unwritten rules in football that everyone wants to play in the Premier League, and everyone wants. It might be because of like the dominance of like teams like Man United and Arsenal and stuff in the past.
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
It's obviously there's obviously a lot of stuff that goes into it, innit? But I just thought like that's weird that people's opinion on that never changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's odd for me.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah, just to summarise, obviously, like it's all opinion, isn't it? That's the thing. I think it's the best league in the world, but
I think it is. But
people's reasoning might be a bit different to mine.
Circling kind of back to like the goalkeeper thing, you can't not say it's Neuer at the moment. You can't not. Like
I would say that hands down, if you pardon the pun. Like obviously, like I think, it's because he's not in the Premier League. It's got to be, and I think as well, like Neuer had a period where he was considered the best in the world. So it's like, can you have it taken away from you and then get it back?
Yeah, I don't.
People are going to want to give it back to him.
I don't think in football it's a case of you're really good and then you pass the torch to someone else. Like it's a fair shout for anybody. Like you can be the best player in the world one year, but then someone else can be it. But then you can easily
come back
performances and be back to the best player in the world again. Like look at Ronaldo and Messi.
Ronaldo and Messi, a perfect example.
Struggles. Everyone will go. It's either Ronaldo or Messi. Who you're picking, and you pick whichever one it is. But then you would then also look at them year on year and go, who's had the better year for both of them? And then that's who you then probably would throw up as he's the best in the world or whatever.
I personally, though, have like never seen anything from Alisson that's out of the ordinary.
No.
Like I've never seen anything from him that a keeper shouldn't do. Like he's not going above and beyond to make saves and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Like even against United, when we drew, like the save against Bruno was an all right save. I mean, if Bruno hit that with any height, that was in. Like regardless, it's just Alisson was already going to ground.
Yeah.
And then for the Pogba one,
if Pogba hits that anywhere with the tiniest bit of direction, that's in. And I know it's if buts and maybes and stuff, but it literally was straight at him. Like, and people were like, "That's an amazing save." And this is why I love Roy Keane, because Roy Keane is so like to the
Cutthroat.
point.
Yeah, he's just cutthroat.
Yeah, and I love it because everyone pussyfoots around it. It's like, that's a brilliant save. Like with De Gea at Tottenham, they're like, "Oh, he pulled out this brilliant save," and Roy Keane's like, "Well, he should be doing that if he's a top keeper. Like, he should be making that save." He was like, he could catch that. And then
I think that's why Roy Keane doesn't really lend that well to punditry, because like on TV, obviously it's an entertainment aspect, so you have to make things like, you have to jazz them up a little bit and be like, "Oh my god, what a save!" Like, and then if you just turn around and Roy Keane's just sat there with a deadpan face, like, he should be saving that. Yeah. He's on like 200 grand a week. Then everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, all right, cheers, Roy."
So I think, but the thing is, I quite like him on it because
it's a nice contrast in opinion. Yeah, it's
the reality. He is the reality check. Like, people go, unbelievable, and he's like, "I don't get what you're on about." Like, it's like with the whole thing when he was talking about Liverpool being bad champions, and that like raged. All Liverpool fans went on a mad one at him about it, and I was like, to be honest, I think out of everyone that sits in that Sky Sports punditry thing, Roy Keane's probably the most qualified to talk about who's a bad champion and who isn't, because I mean, he won 7 titles out of 10. Like, I think he knows what he's on about, and and in the process of winning those 7 out of 10, United retained 4 of the ones that they did, and he won the Champions League, like, and was pretty much the reason why they won the Champions League with his performance against Juventus. Like, he knows what a good champion is and a bad champion is. So, and I think that, I think with Liverpool, I know we're just coming back to it a little bit, but I just want to touch on this last point. I think that with Liverpool is, yes, they were the best team last year, but I think because it was their first title in like 30 years, everyone just got a little bit too carried away with the Liverpool hype train. And now it's back down to reality again. It's now trying to claw at anything to make something credible, where it's like, maybe you should just consider you're not very good at the moment.
I think that happens like, because the same thing happened with Leicester, if you remember. When Leicester won the Premier League, everyone was like, "Oh my days." Like, obviously that was more of a shock than Liverpool winning it. But then it, like, every now and then you get like Gary Lineker now making a comment being like, if they win, they're like, "Oh, they could win it, couldn't they?" So like, even then it's like, oh my God, like everything just gets elevated because they've won it one time.
But I think it's because of like the way Liverpool won it.
Yeah.
Then everyone was like, do you know what annoyed me more than anything? When they did the Liverpool thing on Sky Sports, when they won the league, it was whoever, I can't remember the guy who does it usually, but then it was Carragher, Souness, Kenny Dalglish, and literally it was like, could you grab any more Liverpool people?
Yeah, about 14 Liverpool players.
Like, and it was like chatting about, this could be an area of dominance. We could dominate like 10 years like United did, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, welcome now to reality of modern day football where that shit don't happen anymore.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
It's literally like we go back to, anyone can beat anyone. Liverpool, at this point now, when we speak now, could see themselves 7th by Monday. Like, they are literally in a top 4 race at the moment. I mean, and like we said,
everyone is.
Yeah, like we said before, this season's mad. Things can chop and change. Liverpool could well win it by the end of the season if they go on a mad run of form, whatever, who knows? But at the moment, I think people just got a little bit too carried away. I mean, the fact that we were even comparing this Liverpool squad to are these the greatest team ever in the Premier League? Like,
yeah, it just seems like people jump to like conclusions a little bit too fast on that one.
Yeah, pretty much. And
people do like to get carried away though. Like fair enough, enjoy it. If you're a Liverpool fan, Liverpool win the league, enjoy it.
I had no problem with, Liverpool enjoying their win. Rightly so. You were the best team last year by a landslide. Yeah. But at the moment, you're not doing very well. So just stop with these shitty excuses. You're not doing well. You're not playing well. Like, just because you've got defensive injuries, why is that affecting your way to score? With the same front three that you've said is the best front three in the world for the last 3 years. Why are they not performing? And it's like, it's kind of like the Brighton game. The Brighton game, you basically had the same team that you've had anyway, and you had the same front three. Brighton looked the more threatening team at your ground. That's an issue. Like,
they beat them 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's an issue. But like the whole game, like, it wasn't even like they scored on a counter or a set piece. Like, Brighton looked the more threatening team the whole game.
Yeah, and realistically, you shouldn't even be worried about those types of games if you're a champion.
No, never. Especially with like how much they dominated last season. Like Liverpool played Brighton last season, you go, fuck me, that's like 5-0.
5-0,
like,
7-0, yeah, it could be anything.
5-0 easy. Now, mate, any game Liverpool have now, I don't even think they're going to get.
I really fancied Leicester today. When they went 1-0 down, I thought, oh. But then obviously we had the clangers dropped and everything, and then just goal, and you're like, oh my days. Like they just conceded so fast. It was mad.
Same as City though. The exact same at City.
Yeah.
Like City got a quick fire goal after their penalty, and then it was just destruction. Like I don't see how this gets better for Liverpool, because you can't sit there and just pray Van Dijk comes back before the end of the season.
Yeah, they need to find another way to handle adversity than just relying on one player. They need to come together as a team now. And it's not just about your front three and about Virgil, it's about everyone else. So everyone else needs to pull their weight. So, but yeah,
so,
I mean,
summarize Liverpool, because I can't be bothered to keep talking about them. You're bottling it and just accept it. Like you're bottling it. You're not as good as you were last year. Everyone has injuries. Everyone's part of COVID. No one had a good preseason. Everyone's not allowed fans in your ground. Suck it up and move on and watch City win the league at the end of the season, and then just take it on the chin, regroup at the end of the season, go to your transfer window and actually stop being arrogant little shits and actually buy people to actually put forward a better challenge than you have done this season, because you have been shambolic, and just accept it. It's not that hard.
That's a great summary. And obviously, if you're a Liverpool fan and you're watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments as to a counter argument to what Liam's just said.
Counter argument, all you want.
We want to hear your opinion. Now, come on. Obviously, you've got the chance to give your opinion. Other people should have too. So put it in the comments if you think Liverpool can win the league.
Whatever you want, and I will be more than happy to reply to whatever you
we're definitely replying to these comments. Speaking of in the category of the best, get that light on, son. It's getting a bit dark now.
Oh, yeah, it's getting a bit.
I had a look today on like YouTube or whatever on the internet and that, and I saw there's already some favourites for PFA Player of the Year. Have you seen any of this?
No, I haven't. I didn't.
So there's like, I think the bookies have come out with like their 10 favourites for who it's going to be. I saw like a couple of videos being done on it already. So I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on it. Who you think potentially out of these players might pip like other people to the post?
Yeah, obviously, read them out and I'll.
Yeah. So I don't think I have all 10, but we've got Mo Salah, obviously, Son, Vardy, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Ilkay Gundogan is in there.
He's a good runner.
Bruno Fernandes, obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, and Ruben Diaz is also in there, like under the people that I've got. I think if you were gonna let's do it like this, yeah. Let's obviously have a little like chat about it, and then we'll rate between obviously all those people where we'll do like a top 3.
Okay.
Out of all those people, so out of all those players, who at the minute is like who grabs your attention as to why they should or shouldn't get it?
Ruben Diaz, I think.
And that's why, because he's only just come in, or he's doing really well, or
I think Ruben Diaz is really like I think it says a lot for the fact that Laporte was City's best defender by far, and Ruben Diaz has benched him.
Also, everyone is hailing him as well, not just like Mourinho said that he's like been playing really well, like blah blah blah. Obviously, he's getting the best out of John Stones like at times and stuff like that. That's not easy to do. Like when you first come in and have an impact on other players.
What I like about him is he's really dominant, really dominant, and like he's young, but he's really like vocal, and you can tell that he's really commanding.
Yeah,
and like I just like how he plays. He's very assertive, and to be honest, I think it's been no coincidence why he's played and City have picked form. Like obviously it helps that Gundogan's another one. He's hit form of his life. Like he's been good for City, I think, for a couple of years, and he's been a very tidy player, but for some reason he's just absolutely kicked off.
Yeah, when he first came in, he had an impact, but now it seems like that's just multiplied itself by like 10. Yeah. Like he really picked it up.
I think, to be honest, to overlook a majority of City players
I think as well, like with Ruben Diaz, like coming, like you said, he's young, and he's commanding. Like coming into a team like Man City must be an intimidating place to walk into.
100%.
Like considering all the players that they've got, like, and you're there and you're willing to be like, nah, this is how we're going to do things. Like I'm coming in, I'm new, but this is how we're going to do things. That takes a lot of bottle.
it's another thing of like he's come from an inferior league.
Yeah.
Of Liga NOS. He's literally been at Benfica and then come in from Benfica and just absolutely battered it. Like against Man United, he was absolutely like he was the one player I noticed throughout the whole game. I was like,
you've got to think as well, like especially with a manager like Pep, if you go for it and it don't work out, mate, like that could be it.
Yeah, you're done.
So the fact that he's had the bottle to actually come in and be like, right, okay, this is how we're gonna do it, and then he's actually pulled it off. Yeah. Actually speaks a lot about like how good he is.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like I said, to bench City's best defender, like who he's not getting a look in at all, speaks volumes. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but is it more of a he could get young player of the year? How old is he?
He's 22, I think.
And young player of the year is up to 25, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So maybe he won't get proper player of the year, but just because of like age, but he might get young player of the year. I don't really see anyone else coming in. I mean, Phil Foden's in that category for me as well.
Phil, I had in my notes. Phil Foden is probably
he's just a legit baller, isn't he?
The one generational talent. Like people throw the word generational out a lot. Like generation is like you will not see a player like him for the next 10 years.
We've been waiting for one as well. We've had a couple of flops.
I remember I went to Wembley to watch City Villa in the League Cup final. And mate, out of everybody on that pitch, Phil Foden was the one that stood out of everybody. And like De Bruyne was playing, Sterling was playing, Mahrez was playing. Mahrez came on, Bernardo Silva came on. Like you had Rodri. Like Phil Foden was the one out of everybody that stood out. Everybody. He was first class. Like, and it's no coincidence why he's just going to play. And to be honest, he is the only generational talent that we've got. Like Mason Greenwood's very, very good. Bukayo Saka is very, very good. Smith Rowe is very good. But Phil Foden is levels.
Leagues above, isn't he?
Levels. He's so good.
Like, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I think like he's fortunate to have been. Go on.
No, if he carries on, he'll get Young Player of the Year.
I think he's fortunate to be in the team that he's in.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that has a lot to contribute to it as well. When if he's around players like Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero, fucking Gundogan, like these are all world class players, and he's essentially grown up playing next to them.
Yeah,
so he's gonna pick loads. He's gonna pick so much stuff up, mate. Imagine just being in training with De Bruyne and being like, yeah, all right, let me pick and David Silva as well. Don't forget before David Silva left.
Under David Silva as well.
So it's no wonder he's on fire, mate. I think you're for Young Player of the Year. I know we're talking about just about Player of the Year, but he'll probably get it for me.
I think he'll get it.
If you don't get it, obviously there's still a little bit of time left in the season or whatever, but he looks like a very strong favourite for me.
If he carries on, 100%. I think in terms of Player of the Year, I think if City win the league, then it's whoever stood out in the time frame
in their team, because I think at this point, it's like everyone's so, like you said, it's chopping and changing quite a bit. There's no one that really, apart from Ruben Diaz at the minute, is like really standing out. You know what I mean? No one's really doing more than they've been doing.
To be honest, though, I think that they'll do the classic. I know because Van Dijk won it last year, didn't he? So they probably won't. Usually they did give it to attackers just because defenders don't get really that recognition. So it actually wouldn't surprise me if like
it goes to like Salah or Son or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think Salah should be anywhere near it because he's not been anywhere near the form he has been.
Yeah, because that needs to take some sort of like effect on it. Because if you know for a fact that he's not playing anywhere near as well as he can, then he couldn't win it, surely.
Yeah, can't.
It's the same with any of them. Harry Kane, same with Son, Bruno Fernandes. Let's talk about Bruno, actually.
Yeah.
Because Bruno's been outstanding since he's been at Man United. So what do you think about that?
Phenomenal.
I know we talk about Bruno a lot, so if you're listening, you might have to skip forward or whatever.
No, if he carries on the form that he's doing, by the end of the season, he should be in with a shout.
A very big shout.
A very big shout, yeah. I think.
Do you think it's too hard to fully say, like, with any conviction, who you think can win it at the minute?
Yeah, I think because City are playing really well at the moment, I think it's just whoever plays really well from up until now in City thing, and if they win the league, then it's anyone who plays for City.
Yeah,
can't be anyone.
Right. Yeah, that does have a big impact on it if they win the league.
Although if United push City and Bruno keeps up with the numbers, I think he's in with an equal shout.
I think as well, like you've got to look at player of the months as well, because obviously months make up a year. Bruno has won that like 4 times in one season. So if he's been the best player 4 months out of, like, I don't know how long the season is. It actually 12 months or what? It's not, is it?
No.
It's like 8 months.
Yeah.
So for like half the season, apologies for the quick maths, that is bad. But yeah, if he's been player of the month for half the season, at least half the season, he's got to be in with a shout regardless of where Man United finish, surely.
It's more just the fact of like the sheer volume of his numbers. Like it's actually ridiculous.
It's like every stat in it. He's just murking like every single stat.
Like I can't think of a player the last time that came into our squad, especially in the position he plays as well, because he's not a striker, he's not a winger, like an inside forward like Salah. Like he is a cam, and anyone who watches him knows that he is literally all over the pitch. He drops deep, he picks the ball up from deep.
Yeah, you might even find him out wide as well.
Yeah, honestly, like he's such a good player. But
I think like his attitude has a lot to do with that though.
Oh, 100%.
Like his attitude is absolutely second to none. Like the fact that he likes to see when people are disappointed when they lose and stuff like that is like, that's like world class mentality.
Well, did you see what he did when McTominay scored against
Nah.
Who did we play in the cup? Was it West Ham?
Yeah,
when McTominay scored, like Rashford runs over and like high fives him and he goes, "Brilliant, well done." And then you hear Bruno coming over and he goes, "That ball was for me, motherfucker." And it's like, it's that kind of like, it's, you never hear someone say bad shit about him like at all.
No,
like,
he's really gelling into the team.
Like, and you can tell it's infectious. When you get a player like that in your squad where it does boost you up and it does make you feel good, it is infectious. It spreads to everyone. Like, there's no coincidence why Pogba looks incredible. Like, because he's actually got someone next to him where he's like, I can trust you with the ball. I'll give you it all day long.
That's the thing, is it takes a load off him.
Yeah.
He's now not like, no one actually talks about, no one talks about Pogba anymore. It's all about Bruno. But Bruno is good enough and he's in a position where he can actually do things about what people are saying about him. But like Pogba, if people just bash him, but if he's not playing in a position he wants to be in, and he can't be in a position to get the ball and do creative shit, you're not going to see the best Paul Pogba.
And the problem is what people are overlooking about Pogba. And I saw like a really interesting graphic about him, and he was all over the place, and it showed like how many tackles he's won, how many aerial duels he's won, and it's like his all-round game has completely changed because he's not trying to be the guy to take Man United forward. Like, Bruno can do that. So Pogba can now just do his job for the team and be a better all-round midfielder, a bit like what he does for France. Like, but again, it's early. I think it's early doors a little bit. I think it just depends on where we're at the end of the season. But I think,
he's definitely within. He's in with a great shout, mate. If he carries on, it doesn't even look like dipping in form.
Yeah, realistically, I think it's going to be a City player, though. I think realistically.
Okay, so if we're going to top 3, a City player is going to be the first of your top 3 then. But what do you think about Jack Grealish? Because obviously, I feel like the Premier League loves, and Premier League fans love, like a coming of age type of story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like with Phil Foden and like, he's growing up, he's becoming a great player. Like I think the same thing's happened with Jack Grealish, even though like he's like slightly older or whatever. But he's like,
I think the Grealish story is better because
he's leading the team. He's fully come out and leading the team.
Everyone, like, I'm going to be straight and honest with you, and people are probably going to hate me. When he was first at Villa, and people were saying how special he was and stuff when he was in the Premier, I did not see it.
No, I wasn't buying it either.
I was like, I do not get where people are hyping this kid from. I was like, at all. I was like, he falls over, like he doesn't really make great decisions. He's good carrying the ball. I was like, but
I think that's a maturity thing. Like I'm saying, like coming of age, like all he wanted to do was beat people.
Yeah,
but now like he's improved everything, like passing, shooting, is just decision making.
Yeah, I was going to say what I'm well impressed with him when I watch him is like how he always makes the right pass, and it's just for someone else to finish it off. The majority of the times that like he runs down the byline and just stands there, and then outside of the foot just knocks it into a space, but it perfectly goes in the path.
Some of the passes he makes, like you can't even see those gaps.
It's like Iniesta.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit like Iniesta, like but just quicker. Like, not saying he is Iniesta for anyone who's going to be like, no, he's fucking that. Like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, he's very similar. Like, he's a good ball carrier, passes the ball well, he links play up very well. But what I love about him is like he's dived a couple of times, but what I love about him is like he loves to get tackled because he knows that he wins shit for his team. He's like, right, I can slow play down a little bit, win a free kick.
Also, that might be a thing of like, I reckon I could bin this free kick, so let me try.
Yeah, but like he's a
got
really
that in the locker as well.
interesting one because he's not like a Messi dribbler where Messi just like runs past people and dribble it. Like he waits for people to commit, and then he's like, right, see you later. Like and
we know from playing against people like that as well, that is one of the most annoying players to play against, where they're not quick, but they're just strong and they can keep hold of the ball, and you can't tackle them. Because if you look at the size of his legs, mate, they're like tree trunks.
Right.
If he plants himself, and he's a beefy guy, he's quite tall as well. Yeah. Not massive, but he's quite tall. It must be awful trying to play against him.
Oh, it must be horrendous playing against him.
But the thing is, as well, that I like is that he's got his goal contribution as well is like a big part of his game now. Like he seems like he's just a much more well-rounded player. And the fact that he's taking a team like Villa and he's their captain and he's leading them to do what they're doing, mate, is sick.
Yeah,
they would have been strong relegation candidates as soon as they came.
Oh yeah, I think it is having a manager like Dean Smith, who is a Villa boy as well, and just saying, me and you are both Villa boys. You're our best player, mate. Literally do what you want. Yeah. Like do what you want in the team. Like and he's got that. You can almost tell that he is literally free roll. It's like when obviously they're not the same player, but it's a little bit like when was it Villas-Boas? When Villas-Boas had Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he literally went to Bale and went,
oh, yeah.
Like, he went, do what you want. Play wherever you want. I don't care. Like, because you're the main man. Do what you want. Like, and that was Bale's best year by far, like, when he was playing. So, yeah, I think Jack, he could be in with a shout, but like I said, I think he'll get overlooked.
But again, it could be young player. Is he young enough to be young player of the year, is he?
I think, is he 24? So, yeah, he can get it. Yeah.
So he might be in with a shout for that then instead. But I definitely think he deserves some sort of personal accolade for what he's doing at the minute.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think if it's between him and Phil Foden, Phil Foden will get it.
Yeah,
because 100%. Phil Foden's just more of a like I don't know. It's just more of like in the spotlight.
Yeah, you know I think so. Yeah, I agree.
Right, what do you think about? Let's move on to like some strikers then, like Vardy and Son and that. What do you reckon? Because I just watched the Liverpool game. Vardy didn't really look like he did score. I didn't see the goal, but up until that, he was like he had one chance where he hit the crossbar, but he should have bagged it. I don't know. I don't know if the Vardy party's over. What do you reckon?
I'm all about the Vardy party. I love
the Vardy party. Don't get me wrong.
I love the Vardy party. Cheeky WKDs and some fucking tinnies and just
bootcut jeans. I don't personally think he's doing well enough to get Player of the Year.
I don't think PFA Player of the Year. No, I don't think so. I think
same with Son and Kane.
I think Son and Kane are having better years than him. I think out of the both of them, I think Son might edge it over Kane.
I would think so too. He's more impact. He's more like he just seems like he has more of an impact. Like when they're in the like the rut, he gets them out of the rut. You know what I mean? Like he scores goals against like the one he did against Arsenal. But like Harry Kane will score like 2 out of a 4-0 win.
Yeah.
If you need a 1-0 win, then do you know what I mean? It's going to be Son more than likely that's going to get the goal.
I mean, speaking of Son and Spurs, I don't know if you agree or anything, but I personally think that Mourinho is well and truly into his classic meltdown phase.
Where he starts just binning off all his best players.
Well, not like bin them off, but he's in his classic of these players are uncoachable type thing. What do you want me to do? Type shit.
Yeah, where are Tottenham in the table at the moment?
Spurs are because people hear me out. I wanted Jose to succeed at United, however, they're 8th at the moment.
Okay.
And I wanted Jose to succeed at United. However, when he started coming out with being like these players are uncoachable and stuff like that, I was like, okay, he's losing it now. I was like, he's starting to lose.
He's a special one, though, isn't he?
He is the special.
That's his opinion. Is like it can't be anything that is wrong with me. It has to be them.
And I was watching something. I was watching the kickoff, and they were talking about Jose, and they hit the nail on the head. Rory hit the nail on the head, where he was like, when Jose was in the Prem, he was like this young, energetic, charisma, like arrogance, but like
he was a nuisance.
The football backed up the arrogance, and he had this aura about him. And then he went to Madrid, and then when he came back, he wasn't the same. He was very like, it was like he was full of hate and full of like, it was like grumpy old man like type thing. He was very like, his body language wasn't great. He was very like, I can't think of.
You think he's just becoming more stubborn?
Kind of, yeah. It was more like he had all this energy and stuff, and I feel like he just came back from Madrid as a bit of a broken man.
Do you think though that's bound to happen? Because when you're younger, obviously naturally, if we're not talking about just football, you do have more energy and more enthusiasm. Like, and when he went to Chelsea, he'd just come off the back of like taking the worst Porto team ever to like winning the Champions League. So that itself is gonna carry like a certain amount of energy where you're like, oh my god, I can do anything I want. Like I've just taken the shittest Porto team of all time, about to get relegated, won the league in the Champions League. Now I'm gonna go do it at Chelsea.
But then like you look and you go, he went from Chelsea did he go to Inter after that?
Yeah.
So then he goes to Inter, who then go and win the treble. And then from Inter, he then goes to Madrid. And then he just came back completely different.
Do you know what it is? I don't think he wanted to go to Real Madrid, but hear me out here, because I watched this thing on Netflix. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it. It's called The Playbook or something, like a coach's life lessons or something. And he's on it, right? And I watched his episode, and there's a little bit where it kind of breaks it down in sections as to like their like learnings or whatever. And this one was the boat doesn't stop twice or something like that.
Okay.
So it got to the point where he literally won the Champions League with Inter. That same night, he didn't get on the bus because he had an offer from Real Madrid.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, what I did was got in my car and I just drove straight off. But he saw like Materazzi outside the coach, because he's like, if I go back to Milan, I'm not going to go to Real Madrid. That's what he said. So he saw Materazzi, hugged him, cried, whatever. Obviously, Materazzi knew what was going on. Got back in the car, disappeared. Then he went to Real Madrid. So I think his decision was more based on, I'm never going to get to go to Real Madrid again if I say no. So didn't he do really well at Real Madrid though?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Did he have
really
issues
well.
with Ronaldo?
No. He didn't have any issues. No, I think he had issues with the president.
That might be why then. But
also,
I feel like
I think also people have got to realise as well is Real Madrid fans are probably the worst fans in the entire
they're so
world.
fickle.
Like they are probably
blood,
the
mate.
worst. Like you will never be loved.
No, they want blood.
Like you will never be loved, and that's why I think when he came back to the Prem, he came back as a completely different person.
And yeah, the reason I think that you're right is that he's not necessarily making his decisions off of what's best for me. He's making decisions off of, this is never going to happen again, so let me do it now.
But then if he's saying the boat doesn't stop twice, why does he go back to Chelsea?
Well, because he's getting, like, essentially what I took from it is that every time you get a chance to do something, you should do it, because you're not going to get it again. So, like, obviously, Chelsea, whatever, they parted ways first time mutually.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have necessarily been the best way to do things, maybe. So maybe he thought, you know what, let me go back. I'm going to get a chance to go back to the Premier League to basically prove that I can do it again. And then every job he's had after that has been a relatively big club. Obviously, look at Man United, now Spurs. It seems like if tomorrow a club like, I don't know, that might not even be that massive, let's say like Atletico Madrid or something, even though they are quite a big club, any club that's in that sort of stature, he would say yes to. Yeah. So I think it's just a case of like, and maybe that's why he's so like, oh, I'm out there on my own sort of thing, because he's so like expendable. Does that make sense? Like in his own head, he's like, I need to do this, and this every time I get a chance to do it. So maybe that might be why. He might be just waiting for another move.
But then this comes on to the point I was going to make about him having a meltdown. I personally think that if this doesn't work out with Spurs, his time at the top's done. Like he's not going to get another big offer. because you won't take him. You can't. Like
Someone will. Someone will. It won't be a big offer, but someone will.
That's what I mean. It won't be a big club. It'll be like a Marseille or someone like that, a team that were big before, but they're not as big. Or it will be like, huh?
What about, because Arsenal at the minute are shit. So what if they sack Arteta? Like, let's just say hypothetically, in a world, like, do you think Jose would do that?
This is the thing. Do you make a deal with the devil? That's the thing, and this is the point. When Jose come back to the Prem, and obviously when it was Spurs, Chelsea, and then he obviously had his meltdown and got sacked, which I think wasn't that the first time he ever got sacked as a manager?
I think they brought it out to say like it was mutual, but I think they just sacked him.
Yeah, so I think that was as a manager the first time he was like, "You're out, son. Like, see you later." And I think, to be honest, that got to him because obviously he had this aura of
special one
on the guy. Like, you can't sack me, I'm the guy. Like, and this is the thing. When you want trophies, you want Mourinho. Mourinho will win you a trophy. So United did it where they were faced with Louis van Gaal's just won us 2 trophies, but the squad's not playing well. We still need to win stuff. And then you look at Mourinho 3 and you go, do we make the deal with the devil and go with him? But because we know what he's going to be like, we know he's going to ruffle feathers, we know he's going to rub people up the wrong way, but he's going to win us shit. And that's the thing of, is that the deal you make, especially in this day and age where, where people talk about snowflakes and stuff? Do you bring someone like that into your club when players are protected? Now, they are mollycoddled. They don't really get called out for shit and whatever. It's very protected and very like, I'll put my arm around you and you're all right, like kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make that deal and bring someone in like that who is going to fuck off a lot of people, but he could potentially win you trophies? And this is the thing with Tottenham is Tottenham haven't got a shit squad.
No,
Tottenham have
got
quite a good squad.
Yeah.
And they showed it under Poch. But now you've got a case where it looks like he's fucking people off now and he's annoying people. So now it's the case of, oh shit, it's now getting to the point where Jose is now fucking people off and we don't look close to winning something. Like, what the fuck do we do? Because even if you won them, say, like an FA Cup, they're now out the FA Cup. They ain't going to win the league. So
no, they're basically screwed. So
literally it's now Europa League or bust kind of thing. Are they in the League Cup still?
I'm not sure. I don't really pay attention to Carabao like that. Potentially, if they are or if they're not, that would just only add one extra trophy, wouldn't it? But
I mean, it's a trophy that Spurs ain't won in a fucking long time.
You take it though.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, you take.
Just quickly, I know. Obviously, whilst you're looking at that, just quickly, I know. Obviously, we've moved on to.
Oh, Spurs.
They're still in it.
Yeah, it's the final, I think, isn't it?
What, they're in the final?
Yeah, City Tottenham. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're probably going to lose that game then. They've done well to get to the final though. Let's not. But whilst we're on obviously the topic of Spurs, I know we've come off of talking about Son. Just to quickly end that Player of the Year bit. I know we said we're going to do top 3, weren't we? So do you want to just give me your top 3 quickly? We'll give us your top 3.
Top 3, I'll go for Diaz.
That's to win it, right?
Diaz to win it, yeah. I'll go for Diaz, Gundogan, and do you know what? I'll fucking shove Grealish in it. I will absolutely shove Grealish straight in it.
Okay, so Diaz, Gundogan, and Grealish.
Diaz, Gundogan, Grealish.
That's not bad. I think my top 3 would probably be. I'm going to put Bruno in first.
Oh, okay.
Just because he has to be with him a shout. Like if you don't win it, fair enough. But I think it would be good if he did win it. And then I'll probably say Ruben Diaz and.
Fucking love if he won it.
Ooh.
Love if he won it. Love that guy.
Because I think Jack Grealish is going to get young player. I'm just going to say Son for number 3. Just because I know what he can do and he's an absolute beast. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Obviously your top 3. Because we'd be interested to know. Doesn't even necessarily have to be out of the favourites. Could be anyone. But yeah, obviously going back to Jose, mate, what were you saying? About them being in the final?
They're playing City in the final. So, I mean, it looks like they could potentially win a trophy.
They've also got City today at 5:30.
Well, then there might be an indicator.
So it'll be a good test, good indicator of what's actually going to happen in that game. We'll see, won't we? Then, the cup is the cup, so they might turn them over. We don't know.
Yeah,
they're not going to have that much of the ball. If you ask me, they're going to have to try and work for it if they're going to win it.
They're going to have to counter attack them hard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's going to be. We'll see, won't we? We'll see what happens. Obviously, after.
See what happens, and then
today.
This is what we do. We come back, talk about that shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. We come back and we just have a little bit of a ruckus about it. So, what else has been happening?
So what I've put down is over like the last, obviously, because we missed a week. The last couple of weeks, what I've been noticing is the elephant in the fucking room of VAR.
We're going back to this, are we? Come on then.
So obviously, VAR have had a couple of fuck ups.
Yeah,
looks like a couple of fuck ups. There was obviously the Martial penalty against Southampton. There was like offside calls where it's like just a sleeve or something. The David Luiz red card that against Wolves. So on the back of that, obviously, if someone gets a shit decision, they're saying, "Oh, this and this," but then in another game, it doesn't get the decision. There was then a big thing of the referee that usually comments on it saying VAR's not there to make
is it Peter Walton?
Yeah, it's not there to make the correct decision. And then obviously you had fans, maybe Arsenal fans, well, mainly Arsenal fans, saying basically the FA's corrupt. So
we're going there.
Apparently, well, according to Arsenal fans, the FA's corrupt. You know, they're really corrupting Arsenal to, you know, stop them winning that almighty 8th place medal. So
participation trophy.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? No, yeah, the FA hate you so much. They hate you so much that they're letting you win the FA Cup every fucking year. Like, because that's the only thing you turn up to.
Mate, if it was corrupt, we would have found out by now.
We'd know by now.
Like, because, like, okay, look, there's certain things in football which are corrupt. I'm not going to mention any names, but Sepp Blatter. All right, yeah, let's just look at that, shall we? There's been a lot of stuff like that's always circled about it. If it's happening, people will find out.
100%. Mate, the age of journalism and media is rife. And
think about the amount of likes you get on a tweet like that.
God, mate, imagine.
That'd be a mad thing.
If you were the person that uncovered the FA was so fucking corrupt, like, that would bang and people would be like, I need to get.
Do you know what it'd be like? If it came out, yeah, it'd be a voice recording.
Yeah.
Someone wearing a wire going in and being like, yeah, anyway, so 20 grand on Arsenal to win 4-0, yeah?
Yeah.
It'd be something like that, wouldn't it?
And that's the thing, like, it's not corrupt. The FA isn't corrupt. Like, your team is just not good. Like, like
yeah, I think but the thing is, mate, it's like anything in life, yeah. If something's going wrong, people look out before they look in.
Yeah,
so it's always like, it can be anything. Oh, the ref's making shit decisions. VAR's against us. Now the FA is corrupt. Like, it's like, think about what you're doing first, yeah? If you're doing everything you can to win and then the decisions go wrong, fair enough. But if you've got more you can do, look at yourself before you look at other people.
And this is what I was saying to one of the lads that I follow on Twitter, because he was saying it and he was like, oh, well, a decision like that was not given against blah, blah, blah. And I was like, different people. I was like, different decisions, mate. It happens in life. I was like, literally, like, there has been, I can count on fucking, I don't even have as many hands to count it on, the amount of times that I've seen a decision be given for one team and then it happens to United and it's not given. That's life. It happens. Like, get over it. The decision wasn't given. Like, and that's the end. It's like David Luiz's red card. Like, was it like a bad decision? Yeah, of course it was. It was.
Is this when he? Is this against?
It was like his knee and his stud.
Yeah.
Like his stud, and it was a red card. Like, is that stupid? Yeah, of course it is. Like, but if you're going off by the letter of the law, he's impeded him.
What I'm thinking at the minute is like yeah, you're right, and like, controversy is controversy. It's going to be in football regardless of what decision gets made, right? So I've said this before, someone's going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
But I think at the minute football fans are just having some next like cabin fever because we can't like go out.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people, like especially on social media and stuff, are like, okay, can't go out. Let me vent my frustrations on this. Like, mate, referees getting death threats and stuff like that.
Yeah, mental.
And people getting racially abused left, right, and centre. That is utterly ridiculous. Like, people are just going mad.
I completely agree with you. It's the fact of people have been cooped up for so long that they're having to watch their club through a TV.
Yeah.
And they just can't hack it. And they literally, because teams obviously aren't performing well for whatever reason and blah, 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 they just feel like they're like, oh, fuck. It's the ref's fault. He didn't fucking get that free kick that should have happened 10 minutes ago. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, it's got to go. So the energy's got to go somewhere.
Carrying on for like 10 minutes. Like, what are you on about? Like, it was don't get me wrong, the David Luiz thing was a stupid thing, but stupid things happen to clubs all the pissing time. It's not just your team. Like, so you can't like blame it on that like at all. So to start spouting that the FA is corrupt and stuff like that, it's
also the thing is that like if it's done, it's done. Just leave it. Just get over it.
It's over.
Like you lost. You can't go back to the day and change the decision. Do you know what I mean? Just get over it, man. Stop trying to put things on people that aren't there, saying the FA is corrupt. That's actually like football itself has been corrupt at times. Yes, we know that. Like point shaving, fixing games, blah blah blah, whatever. Like England not getting a World Cup bid. But like
that's the thing. But that's the thing. It gets found out.
Yeah, it does. Like always.
When you see it's blatant, you're like, hang on a minute. Like, and
always
it gets
found out.
Always. You can't, with the amount of coverage in football and stuff like that, you cannot keep stuff secret. Mate, people can't keep shit secret when only about 5 people know it. Like,
yeah, it's impossible.
And it's just in a day-to-day life. How the fuck are the FA keeping under wraps that they're corrupt when they've got
Do you know what it is though, mate? Like the people that are saying that think the Illuminati's real. Like it's either, it's like two sides of a coin, right?
Yeah.
You either don't believe it or you do. Like you either go all out or you just think it's a load of shit.
Yeah.
Like people will be like, okay, so if the FA is corrupt, there has to be more than one thing that's corrupt for that to stay silent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that means then that journalism's also corrupt because they know this, but they're not letting anyone find out about it. It also means that
the players are corrupt because they have to be part of it and know what's going on.
Exactly. So either the whole of football's corrupt or it's not, or it's not. Like you need to decide. Again, let us know if you're an Arsenal fan and you think it's corrupt. Let us know why, and we'll
why do you think it's corrupt? Why do you think it's corrupt? And also, why are you absolute batshit crazy? Because that's what I want to know. Because
I think it just comes down to a thing of like everyone just remembers how good that they're, because it only really happens with clubs that have been good in the past.
Yeah.
So like 100%. Arsenal had like a couple of years where they were dominant. So now their fans just want that. Chelsea are the same. Man United are the same. Like Liverpool's the same. Like so, it's just a bit mad. Like everyone wants that to come back, so they try and claw at whatever they can find for it to not be happening right now.
And I get that. Like I said, I get that Arsenal have been on the butt of some shitty decisions. I get it, but then, like I said, mate, football evens itself out. It evens itself out in the end. It might be shit where you get a few decisions in consecutive weeks that aren't great, but you'll get some that will benefit you.
Yeah.
Like, and then you won't talk about that though.
Like, no, but their ones will come against big teams as well.
Yeah. I was like, God forbid that you won't talk about that. So if you get a penalty that is definitely not a penalty, you'll find any reason to start arguing
for it to be a penalty. Yeah.
Like, you just will. And that's just the way of fickle football fans work.
Yeah, that's just how football goes, mate. You're not going to go against your team. You can't do it. No. It's not in like your DNA to do it.
No.
You would be like, no, that's definitely like. I remember one time, right? This is way before VAR, and it's like just reminds me of this. Where do you remember when Liverpool knocked Chelsea out of the Champions League? Luis Garcia scored.
Yes.
It was it was like a volley, but Gallas booted it off the line or whatever. I was absolutely certain that it was not a goal. But then a picture came out in the paper the next day where the ball was actually over the line when Gallas was booting it out. I still said it weren't a goal.
Yeah.
So like that just proves my point, the fact that like you have to just ride with your team regardless of what happens. You can't and it was blatant there in front of me, black and white, and I still said it weren't a goal.
This is what I think. Like it's even coming back to Lampard against Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Like
that is the most blatant shit you've ever seen.
Everybody with eyes in real time were like, "That's a goal." Like I don't need to see a replay; it's a goal. I could bet everything I earn for the rest of my life that if I was in Germany at that point, they would go blue in the face and go, "Nah."
Of course they would.
Never.
Of course they would.
And you would. It's your team. You will find anything to kind of. But the thing is, I get that you are going to back your team and that's fine, but don't back your team through just blind faith and blind stupidity. Like have a look and be like, Oh shit, yeah, nah, fuck that.
That is, but the thing is though, that's like football fans hate showing weakness.
Oh yeah.
Like people
100%.
in general don't like showing weakness. So like when it comes down to something that they're so passionate about, and they think it should be going a certain way, and it's not, they just won't. They won't have like a analytical eye about it. They just won't.
It's like it's a bit like with that game, David Luiz got sent off. It was like, okay, yeah, he got sent off, but what did you do in the game beforehand? Like, well, you weren't playing very well. Like, so is that?
That's what I'm saying to you, mate. And they cling to anything, and they'll be like, "That's why the game went the way it went." Do you know what I mean? It's one. Always comes down to just one thing where if it's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get sent off, for example, then this doesn't happen, and they don't score, and then blah blah blah. Like it's like when someone gets sent off and they get a free kick and they scored a free kick.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, if you didn't send him off, blah 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 blah. Like it's not even a foul. They wouldn't have scored the free kick.
I was like, you've still got to go up, take the free kick, put it on target, and it has to go in.
There's no saying that that's going to happen just because they got the free kick.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
But you know, it is the way it is, and I feel like although football fans are fickle, they're also quite tolerant because we're like, it is what it is now at this point. You get out, like it just. We know Arsenal fans are going to moan.
Yeah, but this is like when we've played football, we know that like referees aren't stupid. If they made an error, they will they'll make a decision. They can't then just blow their whistle and go, actually, no, it wasn't. I've changed my mind. They have to stick by the decision.
Yeah, they have to, yeah.
So even when we've played football, there's been free kicks that have been given against us, and I've gone, that's very questionable. And the ref's gone, I've made a mistake here. But he's the ref. He can't turn around and go, I fucked up here. Like, my bad. Like he's the staple of authority in the game. You can't have your staple of authority going, fucked up there, boys. Shouldn't have given that free kick. Let's reverse it, shall we?
And the thing is, like human error is a real thing, bro. You can't not everything can be reversed.
Yeah, but then coming on to my point there.
Go on, mate.
Then we'll get a free kick that definitely isn't, and then it's like he knows what he's doing. They
100% they make up for it. 100%.
Evens it out. And this is what I was saying to the guy on Twitter talking about it. And I was like, yeah, you might have a shit decision. I was like, but it evens itself out. I was like, one of your players might have gone and just lunged in from the back. Fair enough, won the ball. I was like, but if that gets reviewed, he could get given a red.
That's the thing with referees. Like, yeah, they definitely add things up. Like, it's even with like, you know, when they give yellow cards and they're like, oh, like, okay, 2 fouls go in, bang, quite hard fouls. They don't get a card. The next one could be the smallest thing, little tug of an arm of a shirt, but because he's done it twice already, that they take that into account. So, and then they give him the yellow card. So it's like, well, hold on a minute. He got a yellow card for someone that's not even a yellow card because of what he did 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So everything that happens in the game, I'd hate to be a ref. Everything that happens in the game stays in their head and they just add it all up as it goes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, when a goal gets given or something through VAR, they're thinking, okay, look, they had that one a minute ago that got disallowed, but it was a goal. I should give this one even though it's not a goal. Yeah. Because it's fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, obviously they're not paid to do that, but we don't know what's happening in their head, so that could easily be a factor.
I mean, and the simple way to obviously avoid that is so we hear the refs talking.
Like in rugby.
Like they do in the Aussie one and what they do in rugby. Yeah, that's the easiest way they can do it. But I think that people are stupid to not think that referees go about, like you said, totting it up in their head and going, right, he's niggled at them a couple more times now. I'm going to have to do something about this the next thing he does.
Yeah.
Like, or it's like, I think the only one that gets me is when a player makes a challenge and it's only one challenge and they book them. That's the one that I really hate. That's the one where I'm a bit like...
Well, you don't think that should be a thing?
Not like a thing, but I think like you should take into consideration it's the fact of he's not made a single foul or anything in anything he's done, and the one time he's done this, it's like yellow card, and it's like
is the cards there though?
For a lot less.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but like, does it get to a point where cards are there to prevent injury almost? Because it's like if you're on a yellow, the manager either takes you off because he thinks he's going to snap someone again and he's going to get sent off, or you in your own head go, I can't tackle anyone now. Yeah, I have to calm down because I wasn't going to get sent off. So it gives you an incentive to not foul people. Do you know what I mean? So that might be why, like,
me and you know the best refs are the ones that they just let the game flow. So say if someone commits a foul and they've got possession, they let the game flow, and then once play breaks up, he just goes up to you and goes, less of that. Yeah, otherwise.
Shout out Keith, by the way.
Any couple more, you're getting booked, and it's like, right, okay, I know. Right,
that's what I like. Like as a player, like I love it when refs just explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. So like it'll be like, oh, you know, remember when we were like, oh, simple obstruction, or like, do you know what I mean? Or like, carry on, boys, you've got it, or just anything, just to keep like the players aware what's going on. But like, if they did that and we could hear them as fans, that would be sick.
Yeah.
But I think like, do you know the reason we probably can't hear them is because of like, obviously it might go over the top of the commentators. So the way they'd have to work it would be only if they're giving fouls and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
Or could they do it like retrospectively, where they go, "That's a free kick. Here's what the ref said on it. Bang," and then they just play it out.
Yeah, and I think they're also more worried about the language of the players. I think that's what they're more worried about, because I can't tell you the amount of times I get so pissed off when I'm watching Sky Sports where you hear a player go "fucking hell," and then you just hear the commentator go,
"Apologies
if you've heard any bad language there." And it's
the refs swear as well. The refs swear.
Mate, I was literally like, I sit there all the time, and I'm like, you must be an idiot to think these people don't swear. Like,
yeah, but people do get offended by it. People do get offended by it.
That's why you don't have to apologise for the fact of there's a bit of bad language. It happens in football all the time. You don't even need to hear it. You can see it in someone's mouth where they're like, "Fuck off." Like,
I think like the reason people get annoyed is like they're either too like up themselves to be like, "Ugh, why are you using that type of language?" or they've got kids. Like, I understand that, like, I personally don't think it should offend anyone anyway. Like, if you get offended, that's your problem.
But I think also parents who think of, I've got kids, I'm like, if only you could listen to your child in a playground when they're like, and not think that they're not swearing their head off. Like, mate, I was just as bad at school. I was in primary school on the playground and be like, so we fucking playing football then, or what? Like, all the time.
Yeah, but then the thing is, their dad will stub their toe and be like, "For fuck's sake!" And then you're blaming Sky Sports or BT.
You're blaming Sky Sports for the fact that a player said "fuck off" because he's in the heat of the moment.
Yeah,
like it's stupid.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors. Like, I get that they can't just like throw things in and be like, "Yeah, this is gonna be sick." They have to like make sure that they're doing, because it's reputation as well. Like, there's so much shit that goes into it.
Yeah.
Like, they could lose so many viewers just because a player says "fuck off."
Yeah, which I think is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but that's the world we live in, mate. You know what I mean? They could get bare just hate tweets, and so they're going to have to make a statement anyway. So they might as well just bin it off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, people lose viewers because like they're actually, you know, advocating for like no to racism and shit like that. And people are like, I don't agree with this, and it's like, really? Like,
mate, you should see some of the comments that I see on social media when I'm working. Oh my days! Mate, like obviously. We posted a tweet about like LGBTQ or whatever plus, yeah. There's like, I think that's all the names and symbols, and we just said like obviously we need to support it, whatever. Everyone's like we're all inclusive, everything like that. Then someone underneath was like, "Oh, do you really think you should be getting involved with this?" Blah blah blah. And then to counter that, some other woman was like, "Ugh," she just cussed him. Like, someone's always gonna have something to say about it. Like, always. Like, that's just the world we live in, man. Because. And going back to like social media, I know we pretty much talk about it every single episode, but it is prominent. Like, everyone has somewhere to put their opinions.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, previously, if you get an argument about football, it'd only be about, you know, like between us, for example.
Yeah.
But now it's plastered all over the internet.
Yeah, and I think that the problem, like you said, when it's an argument between you two, I think people have lost this aspect of, like, you can have a disagreement with someone and still be sound with them.
Oh yeah,
like, it's fine. You don't have to. You don't like always just have to be. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I could like it. It's not, so the way I can summarize it is if you believe in God, say, and you're like to the heavens. Pardon the pun. If you're like to the heavens, God is real. Like, this is bloody blah. I could go. I understand where you're coming from. However, I don't agree with you. I don't believe in that. We could go. Okay, fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you believe in what you want to believe. I believe what I want to believe. But we come to an understanding.
Mutual disagreement.
Like, literally, Twitter is just, no, you're wrong. That is literally it. And it's like, here is the statistic.
Yeah.
And it's like,
here's the XG for the last 12 months.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, no, because of blah, blah. No, you're not listening to me.
You know what we're going to do? Yeah, I think to put the nail in this coffin once and for all, we're going to do just one full episode where we just talk about football Twitter, and we'll get some tweets and that. Like, unpopular opinions and shit like that, and we'll just go through them. And we'll just put a nail in the coffin, mate, because you know what I mean. We need to get our views out there about this shit.
Yeah, mate. It's just you can't have you just can't have just a disagreement with each other and then just shake hands and go, we are still mates though. Like it's people just going, no, you're wrong because this is bad, and it's like chill the fuck out. Like it's like the lad that I follow, like he's so diehard Arsenal, and I kind of admire it because
you respect him for it.
United, like I love United, but I'm not so into United that I can't see any other point. Like, and it's kind of admirable how much it is because it will be. I'll say something. It goes no because of this. What happened in 2007? It's like right. What happened in 2007?
No, because Ashley Cole was wearing red and white F50s, and that's why we lost that game.
And it's like. Wow. It's like, yeah, he was wearing red and white F50s. His mind was already in Chelsea. Like,
if Arsene Wenger's coat was 2 inches longer, we would have beat them 4-0 that day.
It's like, well, if Arsene Wenger didn't say shut up to that ref and get sent to the stand, so what?
Oh my God. Was that when he stood on top of the wall? That was the best thing.
Yeah, he was like that.
And he's like, yeah, that was so good. Love that.
He was like, well, where do you want me to go?
No, but the best thing that a manager's ever done was when Louis van Gaal got sniped for the headshot. That was the best. I miss him, you know. He's a pure character.
Oh, mate, I love
and also Mike Schmorley.
Oh, mate. Well, he's like, my first captain is...
and then he's like, Chris. Oh, he's like, oh, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Mike Schmorley. That'd be cool.
Oh, my days. Yeah, loved him. Brilliant manager. Well, he was a brilliant manager, actually.
What a lad.
Yeah,
I love Louis van Gaal. The best one was at the award ceremony, man. Best one by far. He's like, pay attention to the manager.
Yeah. Like, hey, that's the same one where didn't he have wine there as well? And he was like, there's a wonderful saxophonist sitting in this first round, but you're not going to give him a round of applause.
And they were having like a bidding war on playing a round of golf with someone.
Yeah.
And Ryan Giggs outbid Louis van Gaal at the last bit, and you just see Louis van Gaal slap Giggs on that.
He was brilliant for the Premier League.
Oh,
he was so
such
good.
A character.
Yeah, he was so good.
I did used to love Louis van Gaal.
That's why, like, when he was at Bayern Munich, like he's been doing that his whole career. Because when he's at Bayern Munich, they're losing. Like half time, he goes in and undoes his trousers. Like that's what a pair of nuts looks like. Yeah, you want to have some.
He fucking dropped his kegs in front of everyone and showed him his nutsack, and he was like, "I've got the balls to drop any of you."
Yeah, he's undefeated, mate. That's brilliant.
I miss him.
Yeah, that's so good.
Oh, I miss him. He was funny. Don't miss his football, but I missed him in general. He was brilliant.
Yeah. He was sick, mate. He was a character. Oh my days! Right, let's.
I don't really think I've got anything.
I was going to say, mate, Man City are on soon. So, predictions for that game. Let's do that quickly.
Against Spurs, I think.
I'm going to go for 2-1 City. I haven't seen any teams or anything like that. I'm going to say 2-1.
I think 3-0 City. I don't think Spurs are going to score.
I think City are going to win.
Yeah.
I think it'll be probably a bit... Well, it's either going to be a really close game. This sounds stupid because it's like the only two options. It's going to be a really close game, or like City will score early and that'll be it. It'll just be like...
Yeah. I think potentially 3-0 City. Hopefully it's not like a 9-0 like United did against Southampton. I mean, that would be fucking manic.
What do you think about high scoring games? Because I think they're boring. Like if it's not like 5-4, yeah, that's sick. Like 9-0 is ridiculous.
Fully behind it.
You love it.
Fucking love it. Fucking love it.
But if Man United got pumped 9-0, you wouldn't like it, would you?
Well, no, but the other team would.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Like, just quickly, yeah, before we end this off. Remember Sunday League when we used to get a team that were utter shit?
Yeah, but you rock up and be like, oh, well, I'm at least scoring 7.
But that's the thing. Like, you had centre backs running up, like next to you, like, pass me the ball. Like, everyone just wants to score.
Banging.
I don't rate.
Mate, do you know what? I'm all for it. I mean, it was like the whole thing with United's penalty, and like I had this noted down. Richard Keys was like saying something about like, oh, did they really need to VAR check the penalty when the game was already like 7-0? And I was like, well, yeah, the game's still fucking going on, mate.
Yeah, it's still a part of the game, Rich.
They ain't just going to go, hello, ref. Yeah, no, it's 6-0, so just fuck this off, by the way. Like, it's whatever. Like, no, like, punish them.
Yeah.
Punish them. Like, I want to see someone get battered.
It's always Southampton, though. So peak.
Like, there is nothing I hate more than when a team goes down to 10 men and they start pumping them for a little bit and then they just start passing the ball between them. fucking does my head in. Like,
Yeah.
just going absolutely pump and silly.
Like if let's just say like I don't mind like say last 10 minutes 4 goals going because the other team's not trying.
Yeah.
Like if like you say, to be fair with that, like it just if it's like 6-0 at half time, that's just long for me. I'm not wanting to watch the next 45 minutes to see what happens.
I am. Well, I want to see you destroy it.
Nah, I'm not on that. I prefer like competitive games, you know what I mean? I'm not on that.
No, but there's an element.
Like it's a big confidence booster. Don't get me wrong. Like if you come in next week, you're like, right, I'll just beat him 9-0.
There's an element of competition in it still because it's like, let's absolutely just batter him.
Let's break the record.
Humiliate him. Like humiliate him. I'm not about this fucking sportsman malarkey. You're there to win, and if the opportunity presents itself to go and batter someone, go batter him. Like you don't.
To be fair, like they're elite athletes, aren't they? They're not gonna.
At the end of you don't get a medal at the end of the game to go, hey, you showed a good amount of sportsmanship. Like, no, you get oi boys, we just battered them 15-0. That goes on our goal difference. That could be the difference in us getting second and third.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't think about it that way.
Not about it, mate. Don't like all this sportsmanship, bitch. I'm all about shithousery and fucking winning.
Yeah, you're a madhead, mate. You're like Ander Herrera in fan form.
Like, I get like some aspects of sportsmanship where it's like, if someone's on the floor or whatever, and I've floored them or whatever from wherever, or they've fallen over or something,
help them up.
Pick them up. Well, that's fine. I'll shake your hand at an end of a game. That's sound. But during the game, I don't fucking like you.
I just want to clarify that I'm not going on it from a sportsmanship aspect. I'm just saying it's boring for me to watch.
Oh no, but Matt, I love it. Just pump them. I want to see a team get absolutely ruined.
Well, let's see if fucking City pump Tottenham like 8-0 and see what happens.
I hope City pump them right before Valentine's Day.
And that's a bit mad that you say that as well, actually, because you're a Man United fan.
Matt, at least, mate, someone in Manchester's got to do something, and us. So,
well, to be fair, you've got West Brom tomorrow. So,
mate, I would not even be shocked if you lost. Wouldn't be shocked.
It's away as well, I think, at West Brom.
Yeah, it's at West Brom, yeah.
So
it's Big Sam.
They're fighting as well. They've got a fighting spirit, mate. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, any results that happen whilst we're not filming will just be recovered next week. So make sure
you know it, boy.
You sub and also drop likes on these videos, yeah. Because if you're watching them, you don't like them. No one else is going to see them.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It's called algorithms, yeah.
And also, if you don't like them, then we know you don't like them, and we can do our bit.
Yeah. Also, tell us why if you don't like them, and we'll just change it.
Do you know what I mean?
Simple.
If you don't agree with shit, say it, and we can have a nice discussion.
We can have a disagreement, like you said earlier.
We can have a disagreement. If I don't agree, that's fine. We don't have to agree, but I'll be your mate. It's fine.
But I think next week's episode, right? I'm just going to say this now for all the people listening as well. We have to do the social media one. Unpopular opinions, like we're going to pull some tweets, everything like that, and that is going to be lit. So obviously, if you want to see that, let us know. Obviously, subscribe anyway. You should be doing that anyway because we're just lit. Make sure you're listening on Spotify and Apple if you want to get, you know what I mean, just in your ears whilst you're doing a home workout.
Spotify for all you scrubs and
get me
rich bitches out there.
Yeah, I'm Apple Music to the death, but I don't judge you if you're Spotify.
My guy, mate. Steve Jobs is my guy.
Yeah, yeah. I've got bare turtlenecks.
Rest in peace, the GOAT. That's what it is.
Yeah, rest in peace to the GOAT. Oh my days, what a phrase.
But
yeah, we'll call it there, shall we, mate?
Man. Good with me.
Obviously, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah, cheers for listening, everyone. Peace.